Hey, what's up, everyone? I know it's been a little bit of a hiatus. We've just had some, holiday stuff and scheduling conflicts, but we did promise we would be back before 2026 to talk about end of season stuff, other fun things. By the way, if you see this, no green screen tonight. I'm in the middle of packing, moving the official Orange and Black Soccer Cast studio to a new location next week. Thus, you see the packing here. There's like I just noticed there's what is this thing called? A Cabbage Patch doll or something like that, just sitting right here in this bucket. They look sad. They look angry. They look like they might attack me. Hey, let's get into this. Let's talk about Orange County Soccer Club. We'll talk about the USL Championship final. Was there a champion? If you didn't see an official trophy ceremony, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about more stuff. Let's get this thing started. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. Man, I'm out of breath. I don't even know if I took a breath during that opening monologue. That's how excited I'm here. But welcome, everyone, to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Zamora. I'm here to take you through this wonderful journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club, USL Championship Final, and more. Let's get this party started. We've got Dylan, who has put up with me now for far longer than he ever thought he would, yet he still keeps returning. Dylan, it's been a while. First and foremost, how was your holiday sort of break there that we had, and how are you feeling at this point of the early off season?
I mean, you asked me like I just played for 7 months. My holiday was fine. Thank you for asking. Yeah. And I feel relatively fine. Thank you. I think you just wanted to show off that you could buy a house, by the way. So congrats, Ray.
Oh, I'm not trying to show off anything. I'm just, trust me, if I look worn out and exhausted, it is because I'm worn out and exhausted. It's exhausting trying to sell and buy at the same time while you are serving on a long case for jury duty. And then trying to fit in stuff like this and do work on the side for my actual job. So again, that's all I was saying.
Your actual job.
I wish if this was my actual job and I could make money off this, I would love it.
I thought that's where all the money for the show has been going. I thought that's how you bought the house.
That would be nice. If that was the case, that would be beautiful. Brad, wouldn't you love it if you could buy a house off of the money you make off of this show?
I mean, that's how I got into this house, is it not?
The money from this show?
I'm starting to think that all of you are getting paid except for me. I mean,
I got to talk to producer Handy if Brad's making enough money to buy a house. Although it is a house in Vegas, I think pretty much Vegas pays for your house, and you just have to pay a couple poker chips as a down payment, and you're good to go. Right, Brad?
Sure. I don't know. Happy holidays, everybody.
Oh, people are already like, what the hell did I tune into? This is good old classic Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We've got the craziest one of the group here. That's Larry. Larry, how are you doing, man?
You know what? I'm doing absolutely fantastic. But I want you to ask me that same question about buying a house with the money we make from the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. Ask me that question, please.
That's stupid, Larry. We're not going to ask you that question. Let's move on. And no, tell us. Okay, I'll give you the setup. What do you think about buying a house with your money that you make off of this show, Larry?
Not a chance in hell. The reason being is because then this would be like work, and I don't want to work anymore.
Okay.
He just wants. Never mind.
He just wants to take balls to the face and drive around shopping for people. Let's do this. Let me ask you this question. I'll go to you, Larry. Just so you can go first.
Sure.
Can we say that Pittsburgh are the champions if we didn't see an official trophy lifting ceremony? I know we saw some sort of like last minute ditch effort to get the trophy on the screen before CBS cut off the feed, but we didn't get to see an official ceremony. I think contrary to like what we saw at USL League One, where there was actually an official trophy lifting ceremony. I know we saw it in 2021. Dylan was live watching it, but watching the stream, you saw it. in 2021, but we didn't see that this year. Obviously, part of that is because the match was on CBS, and CBS is like, okay, we've given you your time. Your darn game went into extra time, longer than we wanted. We're just cutting you off here. I don't know what I'm asking you again. I forget at this point, but can we say that Pittsburgh actually won the title if we didn't get to see them officially lift the trophy?
Yeah, we can absolutely say that. And you know what? Honestly, deservedly so. They were fantastic in the playoffs. They did not give up a goal. Their defense was absolutely locked down. They won 2 penalty shootouts. They moved on from 2 penalty shootouts. They didn't win. I guess that's how you're supposed to say it. So yeah, Pittsburgh is our champion in 2025, and they earned it. They were yes, they scored 1 goal to
in the whole playoffs.
Yeah, they scored 1 goal in the whole playoffs. The semifinal game against whoever it was they were playing. They won that game 1-0. So
it's whoever.
Yeah,
they something, right?
I'm sorry.
Was it Hartford? No, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yeah, Mertz scored. So yeah, we didn't see the trophy lifting, but guess what? I didn't see the trophy lifting last year because I turned it off right when the game ended. And I didn't see the trophy lifting the year before that. I did see the trophy lifting in 21 though. So that's the only one that really matters.
You know, it's funny how much I sort of make fun of Larry, or me and Larry sort of always say we're not the smart ones. We just are the idiots on the show that are talking and let Dylan and Brad be the smart ones. But Larry actually knew some information about a match that wasn't an OC match, which is really cool. Larry, you knew who scored the 1 goal for Pittsburgh in the playoffs, apparently. I'm
a fan of Robbie Mertz.
Okay,
I think he's a great player.
Here we go, Dylan. I'm going to ask you this question as sort of a biased American perspective when it comes to the sport of soccer. How can you have how can you be a champion if, like Larry said, the team doesn't actually win the match? They didn't score an actual goal in play. How can you be proud of being a champion like that, Dylan? And I know this is a bad question. Everyone that listens and knows me knows this is not my mindset. I'm just trying to think of sort of that casual American sports fans like, there was no goal. How can we call them a champion? Dylan, what is your response to someone that would say something like that, like me?
Maybe this isn't the correct sport for you.
What are your thoughts on Pittsburgh winning lifting the cup and winning supposedly lifting the cup and winning the championship?
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Lily Ball, and I'm happy for, I think, just those 2 things.
What about Jeff Garner?
I mean, sure, whatever. I'm happy for the fans, and that's no disrespect to Jeff, but like, okay, it's for him. It's literally a job, and he's on the business side of things. But generally, kind of happy for them. And sorry, Tulsa. I don't think I would have been as happy if Tulsa pulled this one off. But here we are.
It's interesting, right, Dylan? You look at it when you're seeing Tulsa versus Pittsburgh, and you just sort of see Pittsburgh as sort of this long-standing USL Championship type of franchise, and you maybe don't think of Tulsa in that way, but you forget Tulsa were the Roughnecks before they were Tulsa FC, so they've actually been around for a while, but maybe just with that rebranding, you just don't get that feeling of them being around as long as they have been. Do you ever get that sense when you look at these teams, or?
It's less that they haven't been around for a while. I mean, I remember Orange County losing 4-0 to them in 2017. It's a little bit more about a couple of the players that happened to play for Tulsa, who I dislike, and I am glad that they did not get to experience joy a couple weeks ago, because I am a terrible person, and I wish bad things upon people like Tyler Derrick.
Wow.
So the fact that he got so close and fell just short makes me very happy.
Okay, Brad, this question is for you regarding the USL Championship, and then we can move on to some other stuff. I have 2 questions for you. You get to answer 2 questions. You're lucky. First and foremost, how awkward was the just sort of makeshift trophy lifting at the end of this match? How awkward did that seem to you?
I mean, you literally explained it asked Larry about it once and then asked me about it in a different way. So I don't know what was more awkward, the way they handled it on TV or the way you're going about really obsessively trying to get us to take the bait here. No, I mean,
I was trying to set you up, Brad. You were supposed to tell me that's stupid and we could move on, but go for it.
oh, I like to add a little bit more discourse. No, to actually answer the question there, um, let's be honest, the league probably had very little time to actually go over this, and more importantly, there seems to be a little bit of backlash towards a shirt design that players wore when walking onto the field, uh, which is definitely the story that we shouldn't be burying here. These players are working very hard for a CBA. I want them to get that, and we shouldn't be minimalizing and saying they don't get to have a trophy ceremony. I bet you none of them care about a trophy ceremony, even if they were to win the league again next year. If they can't afford to live to play in the league that they want, to chase their dreams and goals in.
Yeah, and we will definitely talk. I wasn't trying to avoid that conversation. That was sort of where we were going to transition to next. But I do have one other thing I just want to ask you really quick on this. We like to sort of joke or brag on this show about the Western Conference, because when you look over the last 6 years or so, it's been the Western Conference winning the cup every single time. Finally, an Eastern Conference team wins. If you had your way, or do you feel like Pittsburgh is a great representative as the first Eastern Conference champion in quite some time?
Yeah, 100%. Congratulations to Mr. Garner for winning a title out in Pittsburgh, but they're one of the old guards. They weren't one of the teams that you came in and everyone was like, they're just gonna win the league again, or they're just gonna make it all the way like a Louisville. They're not Tampa, and let's be honest, we know the league has their Tampa bias. So congratulations, and they played a great postseason. Lily Bowl is boring. And I don't know what happened with Lily that he's not on the sideline, and don't want to speculate about it. But boring can win championships, as we've known.
I mean, really, you can win championships. I mean, it's one thing that I when I used to coach, I'd always say is like, if you don't give up a goal, the worst thing that happens is you draw, or if it's a must win situation, you go into extra time and possibly PKs. If you don't concede a goal, you have a chance, and that's exactly what we saw out of Pittsburgh in their championship run in 2025. And it's sort of something we saw from Orange County during their championship run in 2021 is stellar defense, not conceding goals, and eking out those wins in whatever way possible in route to the championship then. So it's a proven method of championship for soccer teams. It's something that goes back, years ago. I mean, that's something that you see. I think that's part of the reason why I believe, I want to say in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, where FIFA went from 2 points for a victory and 1 point for a draw to 3 points for a victory and 1 point for a draw, because you had a lot of teams were really just competing for draws, with the thought of, as long as we don't lose, we have a chance. So we see that there. Now let's talk about what Brad brought up, and I'm going to give you the you already said your initial piece for Brad if you want to dig in deeper, but it was the statement made by the players of both teams in the championship game on national TV, on national CBS, not on ESPN Plus, not on CBS Sports Network, not on Golazo. It was on national CBS. So obviously it was a planned and a tactical decision to do it then. What are your thoughts of the impact of that statement, both from the side of the players, the side of ownership, and even just the thoughts from fans? Like, what have you been seeing from fans' reactions to that?
Look, I don't know the financials behind the league. I don't know if what's profitable, what's not profitable. I'm not even going to argue that the players' position might be unreasonable at times. I don't have that information, but what I do know is that they know more than we do, and if they think that they're not getting a fair deal, we owe it to them as fans to listen and to let them speak their part.
If there was ever an opportunity to bring back former host of the show, Alan Underwood, who is involved in union stuff, albeit in the teaching world, not in soccer, be probably an interesting conversation to have with someone like that, and what his thoughts would be on how this sort of statement that the players made, how it potentially can lead to the change that they're looking for. Dylan, your thoughts on the players, the shirts they wore coming out, the sort of solidarity from the two teams battling for the championship, but still they're coming out as allies onto the pitch to begin the match. Your thoughts on that, and what would you love to see happen, or the result of that statement that the players made?
Yeah. Well, one thing I think that we should hopefully all know, or at least learn about social movements, is that they are greater than any one moment or one individual. So, all the players walked out of the, it's hilarious to say, dugout, wearing shirts that said USL HQ, Pro Rel, try Pro Standards first, with a tag of the handle of the Players Association. So, yeah, unsurprisingly, I'm going to side with the labor here. A guy probably making 40, 50K a year, theoretically risking his ACL on a week-to-week basis, or, a car dealership owner, or, rest in peace San Diego, but in their case, some Nepo baby with a bunch of money to burn. Like, yeah, the owners probably are doing okay, even if they are losing money for most of them. This is probably a tax write-off. These guys do deserve access to things like housing and good medical care, and other things that you would expect from a professional organization, a professional sports league. Just if you put the amount of effort and dedication and practice into getting to this level, you should be rewarded with more than being able to say that you're a professional soccer player. You should be rewarded with better than average things like medical care. Again, that's kind of the biggest thing for a lot of these guys, I imagine. Stuff like housing and even just guaranteeing pay. For all the complaints about other sports and how excessive some of these contracts that we look at, right? Shohei Ohtani's making $700 million or something. Juan Soto's making $700 million. I don't know. Someone name a football player that's probably making $500 million. Patrick Mahomes? I don't know. But how much money do the owners make in situations like this? So it's absolutely the right thing to do. You take your chance when you've got the biggest possible audience, and you present a pretty unified idea, a unified comment, and you don't really attack anybody. They didn't call them out for any shortcomings. They just made a simple demand. Try Pro Standards first, and well, I hope you figure it out. I love the sport and I love this league and watching these players, but if they need to withhold their labor for better working conditions, then so be it.
And this is how we learn that Dylan is probably a Taylor Swift fan, a Swiftie, because when thinking about high-paid NFL players, the only name that came to mind for Dylan was Patrick Mahomes, and he's nowhere near the top. Surprisingly, the top is Dak Prescott, making, I believe, $60 million a year as the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a lot of
Larry.
money. And if we think about how much money Jerry Jones makes, it's not a lot of money anymore. It's just a lot of money to me.
All right, Larry, I got the fun assignment for you. This is debate class. We've heard from Dylan and Brad as the pro players union. Hey, this is debate class. You have to do it whether you have to come up with something here. What argument can be made? And I'm this is sort of a serious question. What argument can be made in sort of support of maybe the owner stance on this, where maybe you're not wanting to guarantee everything? I mean, look at like a club like North Carolina, where they're basically saying, we're going to halt operations and we're going to wait for Division One before we do anything, because there's no money to be made really at this level. Is there any argument or anything you can think of where an owner can make an argument as to why they maybe do things the way they do?
Larry, before you answer that, I'm going to say what Ray wanted me to say earlier. That's stupid.
Come on,
I-
Brad. I was trying to set up Larry so I could tell him what he says was
I,
stupid, but okay,
I
go
can
for
be
it.
a little bit more concise because you did not ask me an open-ended question. So the answer to your question, Ray, is no.
Okay. Hey, I just want to throw it there. I get it. I'm on the same stance as you all. I'm pro union for these players and better um, things, right? Because although we are not, we can't tell you exactly how things are run in the league. We do get to interact and speak with these players from time to time, and we sort of know. We don't. We probably. I think all of us can go on record as saying we don't know exactly what it is, but we have an idea based on conversations with not only some of the players we get to interact with, some of the other media and news people that we've interacted with when it comes to player contracts and like that. We have an idea, and I also want to just sort of understand and know that, like, I think it was Dylan, you said like this is pretty much a tax write off probably for a lot of the owners because we all can also be very reasonable and understand that it is not a money making entity. I know Dylan jokingly was talking about these multi-million-dollar athletes in some of the other leagues, but I mean, obviously, when you look at it, if you're a baseball, an MLB owner, an NBA owner, an NFL owner, and probably even at this point an MLS owner, you're making money off of your organization. It's not a tax write-off situation in those instances. USL is a different entity. Now, I get it too. USL is trying to take those leaps forward and become a profitable organization across the board. But we also have to be realistic. We see it. When's the last offseason that we've seen? And I'll ask Brad this question. When's the last time we saw the USL goes to the offseason and not a single team folds in the offseason? Can you think of that?
I feel like Channing Tatum and pointing out that's bait right there. Look, it's been probably like before the league started exploding, before like Reno even came out in like 2018. But even so, I think there's been a I think there's been someone who's folded every year almost since inception.
And that's and oh, sorry. And that's part of like what I'm trying to think about here. And when I'm asking Larry the question I ask him, although I already knew where Larry's mindset is, where his stance is on this, but I'm also just trying to I don't want to just sit there and come across as we all just think it should be roses and beautiful and everything like that. There has to be the understanding of it. And I'm not saying that I'm making an excuse. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to also make us all think and understand that it a lot of these owners are losing money when it comes to things in the USL. And I get it. I want these players to have stable jobs and not have a team like North Carolina folding while the team is still in the playoffs. Yet they're being told, the players are being told, oh, by the way, you're not going to have a job next year. Or, players that are basically on 9-month contracts and then have to try and figure out what they're going to be doing. They have like 2, 3 months, 4 months to figure out where their next paycheck's going to come. Almost like school teachers, right? You're paid for like 8 months of the year and then you have to go a whole summer without making money. Where am I going to make money? Do I go become a bagger at a grocery store like Kurt Warner did before he blew up in the NFL? Do I go train, do soccer training on the side and make $100 here, $100 there? I get it. It's hard, but we also got to also think about it's not just money that's being, absorbed by a lot of the owners. Some owners, maybe. Some owners, maybe not. I don't know the monetary numbers for all the teams in the league. Maybe if we get someone like a John Morrissey on, maybe he has some thoughts or information on this that he could share. But I want to say it's probably very far and few between of owners that are pocketing money from USL, if any are. If that makes sense. And y'all can come at me if you want to. This is your opportunity, Dylan, if you want to bash me for saying something like that. Again, I'm trying to say I'm all for it with the player side, but I also like to look at it from both sides just to try and get a broader understanding of what's going on. So bash me, Dylan. Go for it. This is your turn.
Look, I could spend 5 minutes talking about how this is just one of many examples of labor being exploited in a capitalistic system, but this is not the podcast for that. If you wanted that, you would read the papers that I wrote in college. So we should probably just move on and talk about things that we would wish for.
That's
I don't
stupid,
know
Dylan.
anymore.
That's stupid, Dylan. Let's do this. And I'm just this. You hear me saying that's stupid, but it's sort of I'm poking fun of
Sounds
Larry
pretty
because
educated.
in our back channel conversations, Larry said he loves to say that's stupid. Let's
When
do
have I
this.
ever said that's stupid? Andy, you have receipts. You always have receipts.
My
Please
God,
pull up one
Receipts.
message in the
this is terrible.
in there where I say something that's stupid.
Okay, let's do this. We're going to talk about OCSC. We haven't talked about OCSC much yet, but I do want to talk about one other thing. This is sort of OCSC related.
Well, hold on,
Former
Ray,
OCSC.
Ray, hold on. Is anybody else going to get to talk tonight other than you? That's my question.
Former OCSC general manager Oliver Weiss has a new position in Monterey Bay. He took a couple years away from managing teams to oversee, I believe it was the connection with USL Championship or USL overall and pathways to Europe and other entities. He's now taking over a position, or he has a role at Monterey Bay. So he's back at managing with a single team. Your thoughts on this move? And I'm going to go to you, Larry.
I think it's fantastic. It's great for the league to have somebody like Oliver around. It's great for Monterey Bay to have somebody like Oliver around. Some of us are friends with and know a particular Monterey Bay fan. I'm not going to throw names out because that's not my place, but he sort of had a falling out with the Monterey front office. And in speaking with Monterey fan who has been a guest on the show, you guys can figure out who I'm talking about. Oliver actually reached out to him and took him to lunch to kind of rebuild that bridge. And this is somebody who's, it's a super fan of the team. So having a guy like Oliver around is just good for everybody.
I love Larry's like, I'm not going to call out names, but he's like dropping every damn hint. And that anyone that has ever listened to the show, which are like 5 of you, would know who he's talking about. Dylan, your thoughts? Is this good for Monterey Bay? Is this neutral? Is this going to hurt them? Thoughts?
I called it out earlier. Car dealership people running a soccer team probably isn't great. So yeah, this is probably going to be good for them. They might actually make the playoffs. I'm sure that's why they brought him in. And I'm sure, Florida's nice and all, and I'm sure the job of head of global football development was nice, but coming back to California, it's always going to be hard to beat.
I'm going to say this. Oliver set the foundation for what Orange County is. And we've talked about this numerous times on the show, right? Orange County is going to be a team that's going to compete, but they're also going to be a team that strongly it was working on developing youth, finding youth, developing it and moving them on to bigger and better things. Obviously, when that's the situation, it's hit or miss the way the team does in a season. When you're trying to balance youth development and winning, it's a very, very thin line to make that work. But Oliver set that in place for Orange County. And I believe when you look back at it, where Orange County is now with the success they've had over the last 5-6 years, Oliver was a big, if not the part of why they've done that or why they are where they are. So I think Oliver in a position with a team such as Monterey Bay, which seems to be a team that is there to stay. They don't seem like one of those teams that you're looking at like Monterey Bay. They're probably going to be gone in a couple of years because the fan love is going to die out or the owner's going to be like, I don't care about this anymore. I think Oliver can help set Monterey Bay up in that same position that Orange County has. The bigger question I have for you, Brad, is, that was a big role that we saw Oliver move into with the league. With Oliver stepping away from that role, do you see that as a decline for the league overall in that global development and moving players on? Or do you think the league will be able to continue on with what Oliver has built over the last couple of years?
I'll put on my little Republican cap and let's return the power back to the teams. The teams that are able to successfully uh, build a youth program and sustain a youth program and sell their youth players internationally are the teams that are going to be successful. And as we've noted, those are the only teams really turning a profit in the league to begin with.
All right. There we go. I'm looking forward to see what Oliver can do in Monterey Bay. I want to see the stability. Monterey Bay is one of those teams that you're hoping can remain and be a big part of it. I think it's a good draw, especially for us here in Orange County. Like it is a decent travel, but it's a reasonable travel to make the trip up to. I know Larry was up there on his honeymoon, I believe it was in Monterey Bay, and it'd be nice to see a team like Monterey Bay be able to be successful. And I'm hoping Oliver can help them take that step forward in being successful and building a good, solid youth development program there, like we see in Orange County. All right, Larry, I'm talking a lot. Go ahead. Well, what are we going to talk about next?
Well, I think we
Larry's mad at me, by the way, so I'm seeing the glare that he's giving me.
I'm not mad at you. I there's nothing I enjoy more than listening to you talk for 26 of the first 30 minutes of the show.
That's why everyone tunes in, Larry. I'm just telling you.
I like Dylan throwing in 17 words for 86 seconds, and I like Brad popping in there for a sentence for 40 seconds. I think it's an absolutely fantastic way to run a show. So Andy actually beat me to it because I was just about to say, let's talk about what we were going to talk about tonight. And I'm going to go to Dylan first. And I'm going to ask you, Dylan, what's one thing that the team should stop doing next season?
I really couldn't move past I really couldn't move past this one, all the thing I did. I really would love if they would stop losing. In all seriousness.
Oh my gosh, Dylan. That is the smart insight we expect out of you, buddy.
There's not a lot that we need to stop doing. I'm a little bit tongue-tied here. I feel like I can't share what I truly want because of rumors about I would like us to stop paying not paying. I would like us to stop signing some older, more experienced players, and really let the kids.
Give us an example, Dylan.
No,
Who are
I'm
one
not
of these
gonna go ahead and do
older,
that.
experienced players? Do it.
No, thank you. So I will go ahead and pass it along to Brad. Brad, what would you like Orange County Soccer Club to stop doing next season?
Is next season now, or should I hold my off-season gripes for a little bit longer?
We'll talk about off-season stuff. Yeah, we'll talk about off-season stuff in a little bit. Talk about next season.
Talk about what you want to talk about, Brad. Talk about right now. We know what you want to talk about.
No, I'm gonna save it. I don't really have a stop like Dylan. I do want to sign the younger players, but there is value in having one or two veterans on the team. But stop getting injured. I know that's something that's totally within the team's control, but stop getting injured.
Oh my gosh, Brad, you stole what I was going to say. When you were sitting there I can't think of anything
Less
to
for
say.
you to talk about.
That's what I wanted to talk about is stop getting hurt. Stop getting hurt, team, because you look back at the last 4 or 5 seasons. Well, I guess 2021 was a good season, but you look back at some of these recent seasons, what could have happened if we don't get hurt as much as we get hurt, and who knows why it's happening. But yeah, that's something. And I apologize if I keep rubbing my eye. I'm getting it's just getting irritated. Larry, is there something you wanted to talk about stopping for Orange County next year?
Well, first, I would like to say that stop getting injured and stop losing are really brilliant.
Hey,
moments, guys.
The stop losing comes from the brilliant Alan Underwood. Just
Okay.
It's like the don't concede goals. Don't lose. It's easy.
Yeah, there is something I would like to see the team stop doing. And I actually said this to somebody from the front office in the middle of the season. When Orange County Soccer Club loses a home match, do not take the player of the game, whoever that might be, and take him over to the CLC for a photo op of him getting a certificate to Pro Bass Shops or for a P or whatever it happens to be. I know that they have the sponsors that they have to do a little bit of work with. Fine. You know what? Take him down in the tunnel with the Orange County Soccer Club background thing behind him and let Lisa take her picture there. But I'm going to give the example of why this came to my mind. Chris Hagart won player of the game on a game that we lost. And I don't remember if it was a bad loss or exactly what it was, but you could just tell that Chris did not want to go over to stand for a photograph and fake smile for the player of the game moment. So Orange County Soccer Club needs to stop doing that next season. When we lose, don't just take them somewhere else. When we win, tie, great game, bring them over there to the CLC, take the picture, but not when we have a loss.
So players, when you get a hat trick and a loss, just go into the tunnel and take the picture. Don't come celebrate with the fans or show love to the fans for being there during that match. Even though
if one of our players scores a hat trick and we lose, nobody deserves player of the game.
Brad, what should we start doing next year? Or what should Orange County? Let's go there. Well, not us as a podcast. What should Orange County Soccer Club start doing next season? Not getting injured?
Start doing more community events. It's so, I think I stole Dylan's. It's so disheartening to see like the only community events the team does is like little library reads, and they show up, read a book. I get it. Players have time on the field that they need to put in, and there's only so much travel and stuff you can do. But the team is a community team. It very much relies on the 5,000 people that come every week. They could always do more for the community that they're based in, especially because they have a map of that community on their jersey.
So Orange County Soccer Club, Brad wants to see smoothies with gnarly. That would probably make him happy. Dylan, what do you want to see Orange County doing next season?
Oh man, that was a deep cut that I can't believe you remember that.
Dylan and Brad know what I'm referencing when I say smoothies with gnarly there. I know they do.
Stop making weird inside jokes, three of you, and just Corey Herzog used to host a smoothie thing. I think it was the morning of games or the day before games with Reno fans. I don't think it shouldn't be up to the players about what they need to do next year. I'm sure if we ask any number of the returning players, as we get drip fed them, hey, do you want to win every game next year? And hey, do you want to not be hurt next year? They're probably going to say things like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Thanks. I do think Orange County needs to be especially focused in the community. I think right now is a really valuable and important time for community organizations to use their platforms and to use their standing to be forces of good, I think is a good way to put it. Now, I don't expect them to do anything political because the club has always very much shied away from social movements, political movements. That is largely fine. They're businesses, so I understand that without a historical background of being formed by X group or representing X group, they're not going to do those things. But beyond players going and reading books, I think it would be nice if the club provided a way for older, bald, fat men with beards to do yoga or run or, I don't know, play pickleball. It doesn't really matter, but, simple things like that don't take a lot of effort, they don't take a lot of money, but do provide a very good, benefit to the community that the club is a part of.
Can you picture Larry doing yoga?
Uh,
Larry, what do you want to see the club start doing next season?
Dude, I did yoga 3 times a week for like 3 years, bro.
Yeah, I was
Come
about
on,
to Larry doing yoga.
I'm just saying, can you picture Larry doing yoga? I didn't say you do it or not. I just said, can you picture Larry doing yoga?
I like the idea of community events, and I think pickleball with Partita would be great. One thing I would like to see Orange County Soccer Club start doing, and I only say this because again, I'm just lucky to get a little bit of insider information sometimes. We don't have the payroll that a lot of other teams do. Charleston has 3 times the payroll that we do. Lewis City has 3 times the payroll that we do. Now, granted, it's a lot cheaper to live in those places than it is Orange County. But I would like to see the club maybe just sign that big name. Just, 1, 2 players here or there. And don't get me wrong, man, I love the guys that we had this last season. This is since 2018, I've been coming to these games, and I think that this year, this 2025 team is probably my favorite group of players that I've had the opportunity to be around. They're just a lot of really good, very decent human beings. I'd like to see every one of them driving a little bit better of a car. I would like to see them get paid just a little bit more, and that goes back to the collective bargaining agreement. So that's what I would like to see Orange County Soccer Club start doing.
Larry would like to see Orange County sign one of those like proven veteran players, that Dylan so much does not want to see them sign going forward. What I'd love to see start, and this is sort of a weird because it's not really a start because I want to say back in 2020-ish, the team sort of announced this like youth soccer network that they were promoting or building, where it was going to be partnering with local youth clubs and organizations and providing sort of a development path for those players up to and past the USL Championship with Orange County Soccer Club. I don't know anything about that. I haven't seen anything come of that. I know you have players here and there that are sort of well-known players. And when you look at some of the more recent signings, they're players from outside of Southern California that were with academies elsewhere that got moved over. You look at Bryce Jameson, you look at Ben Barjolo. They came from, I believe it was the Barca Academy out in Arizona. I'm sort of disappointed that there hasn't been any kind of continuation of that. I want to say there was a point where there's like, yeah, they were trying to build these relationships with local organizations, whether it was local chapters of AYSO, local club teams, local rec leagues in and around Orange County. I don't know what's happened with that. And I'd love to, when I say start, I love to see the start of where that is, where we are now, because it sort of was like, let's announce this. Let's say we're going to do this. And then what has happened with it? I don't know over the last 5 years. So I'd love to sort of see what that has become, if that has become anything, or if it hasn't. I'd love them to see that focus again, because I want to see the investment in some of these youth soccer players in and around Orange County. Because if you don't know, soccer in Southern California is a big thing. There's a lot of talent. From what you hear and what I've talking with other soccer people in and around Southern California, is when lower level club teams from Southern California go and play in tournaments out of state in, say, Utah or Nevada or wherever it may be, the lower level teams in our area in Southern California tend to do really well against top level teams elsewhere, because just the player pool is so big here in Southern California. So I'd love to just sort of know, like, is that still a thing? And if not, let's start doing that again. Let's start getting involved with the youth soccer and make that a big thing. So that's sort of a start or continue, because I want to say start because I don't know whatever happened with that other than the announcement. But if there is still something going on, continue it and let us know what's going on with that. Is there a continuation for you, Larry, that you want to throw out there?
I would like to see Orange County continue with the trend of success that they've had over the last several years. 3 years in a row, we have reached the playoffs. We have reached the conference semifinals. We've gotten knocked out at that point for 3 straight years. But I would have to go back and look it up, and maybe I'll look it up and, post it up on the Instagram page to see what other team has been to the conference semifinals the last 3 years. I mean, Lou City, obviously, they're going to be there. But
sure.
When there's 30 teams, how many teams are in the league? 30, 32, whatever it is.
Less like 24.
24, okay. But last year there was more because we had 17 teams fold after last season. I would like to see us continue that. That is a good run of success. And at the same time, the organization as a whole has done a very good job with that development of the youth players, whether they're coming from the Barca Academy out in Phoenix or they're coming from, I can't remember where Tyson Espy came from. Maybe one of you guys can refresh me on that one.
LAFC.
Half an hour up the road.
LAFC. Okay, great.
Barca.
But don't forget, you can
Barca,
also throw out.
Whatever, man.
You could throw out Atlanta for Kobe Henry because that was where Kobe came from, was in Atlanta. So
You sure about that one?
wasn't he part of the Atlanta, the academy in Atlanta?
All right. Well, we'll
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan. You could correct me.
Okay.
He's
I
typing
feel
Fury.
like he came from Miami, and my cursory search proves that on the 18th of June, 2020, he journeyed on out from Miami to Orange County.
There you
Ray,
go.
I think you're talking about Corredio Sedina came from the Atlanta system.
Okay, I knew it started with a K.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Great.
All right,
And Iloski has a K in it. So there we go.
yeah, K's crazy. K is great sometimes. Dylan,
Awesome.
I would
Continuation.
Really like to see, yeah, funny that we mentioned youth players. I'd really like to see Orange County continue to kind of push youth through the pro ranks, and in situations like Ben Barjolo's, when there really wasn't a spot for him to play meaningful minutes, they found him a place on loan, and albeit a good place on loan as well. Then banish him off to the wasteland that is MLS Next Pro. They found him a competent, well-run team a division below, so he could go and still get some development, and in a different situation as well, or a different environment as well, which is probably only going to serve to make him that much better and that much more ready when it comes time for him to take the next step.
which we know he will eventually do. He's that good of a player that he's going to have a next step. We just don't know quite what that next step's going to be yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Brad.
everyone's really pushing it, but he's still very young, so he doesn't need to be perfect when we see him in March.
It's good experience to go from Orange County to Omaha. It's two totally different places in this country. It's a different experience, like you said. Brad, is there something you want to see Orange County continue for next season? And then we'll get to your favorite topic for this episode.
Continue. I think continue leaning in on the coaching staff that they've brought in. I don't want to see a midseason departure. I think Stone has done a good job with what he's been given, and if he continues, he's going to be a mainstay with this team for quite a while. He's bought in, the players are bought in, the fans are bought in, and the last thing we need is another year and a half of a competent coach before having some midseason twister and then finding another competent coach, because that's something we've always been lucky with, is kind of landing on a competent coach at the end of the day.
Yeah, and this isn't part of the continuation thing. I'd love to see, well, I guess it is part of it. I'd love to see a continuation of the coaching staff for not just 2026, but for a future, right? I don't think Orange County has really had the longevity of a coach since, I guess you look back, Braden Cloutier was probably the last one that really had some longevity with the club. I believe he was here for 4 seasons as head coach and maybe even a season or 2 before that as assistant coach. I don't think we've seen Orange County have that type of longevity at the management position or coach position. I'd love to see that. I think stability is something that sort of gets overlooked when it comes to professional sports. You see, let's just find a new coach. We're not doing good. Let's get rid of the coach, find someone new. I'd love to see some stability there, and hopefully Danny Stone is that person that we get to see make a 5-6 year run with the club and bring some stability there. All right, let's talk about this. And this is a topic that we discussed behind the scenes, and we definitely wanted to talk about this tonight, is announcements that teams make on returning players. We see it in multiple forms. We see some teams just basically do a blanket statement, say, hey, this is who's going to be back. This is who's out of contract. This is who potentially might be back. We're talking with them. As Orange County Soccer Club fans, we've become very used to Orange County's method of, I guess the term that has been brought apart is the drip of information. of announcing a player a week or a player every couple of days throughout the off season until you sort of have. I think what the magic number is probably about 10 or so players that you get by the time we're ready for the start of a new season, and then you start maybe getting a little bit more of an avalanche of stuff coming through. Brad, I'm going to go to you first on this one. What is your preferred method when it comes to player or roster announcements from teams at the USL Championship level?
Yeah, I think the way that we handle it is kind of a little upsetting. It does not meet the mark. Mostly because, we just had a shopping holiday, and I know Dylan loves his capitalism and really wanted to get a Nico Benalcazar jersey on sale. And Nico Benalcazar was announced today that he's returning to the team, and now Dylan can't get a Nico Benalcazar jersey on discount. Has to buy it at full price because he wasn't certain that that player he wanted to root for was going to be here next year. That's a
He should have
stupid
been confident.
example. It's a ridiculous example. I'm pretty sure the Black Friday sale's still going on today anyway, so Dylan, you can still get that jersey. But every other team in the league, for the most part, seems like announces all their players at once. Las Vegas, New Mexico, Charleston, Detroit, Monterey, Phoenix even. They, at the end of the year, they put out a little blurb. It says, these players remain under contract. These, the team, are doing a team or player option. These players are currently out of contract and we're negotiating, and these players are free agents. It's easy, it's quick. There's no need to draw it out over a couple weeks. I don't know what these one at a time announcements do for social media engagement, but I'm pretty certain it's a low bar. Um, what are we doing here? Just let the people know who's coming back. These contracts have probably been signed for weeks, if not months, and most of them probably aren't going to be a surprise, but just be like every other team in the league. Sometimes it's better not to be different.
So apparently, Brad knows that Nico was re-signed like 6 months ago. Thus, he's been signed for months. Dylan, I'm going to do what I did to Larry earlier to you. Make the argument for this sort of overtime release of information of these players. What's the benefit, or why would a team want to do it that way?
Brad probably hit the nail on the head, which is brand engagement and social media engagement. Now, I am not on social media, so I can't tell you what time they're posting these, but it would be theoretically, it would be a good way to maximize the visibility and engagement of a given social media post over a time that is typically slower for the club because we don't have much to talk about. That being said, yeah, I really want a Nico Benalcazar jersey. Hey, no disrespect, Nico, you are freaking awesome, but you have terrible taste in pizza, so I would never. And I need my own collective bargaining agreement with my own employer. So, yeah.
So you can afford a jersey.
So I can afford a jersey. So maybe we all get what we want this offseason. In all seriousness, seriously, I hope they get a collective bargaining agreement. They deserve it.
I love how Dylan brings it back to such a different topic there. That's stupid. Larry, go ahead and let us know what your thoughts are on this. Like, what is your preferred method when it comes to announcing the returning players?
I like Hanukkah because instead of getting all of your presents on one day, you get 7 days worth of presents. And so far,
oh my God,
I'm
man,
crying in my Judaism right now, Larry.
7 days, 8 nights. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not a religious man. Okay, I'm
No.
sorry. I only know the very basics.
Triple down.
9 days, 8 nights.
Whatever. I kind of like this way because I was literally I on my son's eyes. I was literally I just finished up my day and I was just kind of chilling, and I needed to send a text message to Fonseca at the front office, and I was thinking right as I was sending that text, you know what? It's probably about time that they announce another player. I really hope it's Nico. And it was probably 3 minutes later that the post came up that another player returned. So that's great. This is, what is this, Tuesday? We're probably going to get another one on Thursday or Friday. And then we're going to get a couple more on next week. And I'm kind of a fan of this. I don't like drinking from a fire hydrant. I like small sips. I don't do shots. I don't want shots. I want just a little bit here, a little bit there, and we do it like
Larry,
that.
do you eat your rice one kernel at a time? Your
I do.
popcorn?
I don't
I
eat
do.
rice.
Apparently, he just goes
You-
straight to
you-
the fire hydrant as well. Not the fire
No, that's
hose.
Brad. Brad goes to the fire hydrant. Brad,
I'm
you should
not
watch me.
asking a lot here. I'm just asking for like if you can't digest 16 players at once, then
Okay,
I don't.
Brad, I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong and why your comment is that stupid. When it comes to this, because I will give you the absolute reason here. Because of the way Orange County does this, I probably go onto Twitter on average once a week, refresh, look through the feed. I rarely look at what Orange County is doing. We hit the off season. Guess what? I'm daily going, refreshing, and searching for Orange County Soccer Club to see if they've made an announcement on a player. And you know what? That is social media engagement. That's getting people to return and look at stuff. And I'm looking more at Orange County Soccer Club's social media in the months of like November, December, January than I probably do the remainder of the year because I'm trying to see have they made an announcement, what's coming on, what's going on with the roster. I get it. You want it all right there. You want the Cliff Notes version of what's going on in the off season. You're like, just tell me straight up what's going on. I like the suspense. I like going on and doing my daily search on social media and finding out who is coming back or who is going back to the Air Force. That's what I get off of this. Dylan, you were raising your hand, which I appreciate it. This is like the classroom. I'm the teacher. What do you got to say, Dylan?
No. I just really wanted to stop that from continuing. Who's your favorite, Ray? Who's of the three that are coming back? Who are you most excited about?
I'm actually most excited for Ryan Dogman. I mean, I love longevity. He's now going to be that player that's been with us pretty much the longest when you look at the roster. I mean, if Colin Charlotte comes back, obviously he would get that position, but Ryan's been here for quite some time and I love it. I love when a player like Ryan Dogman and if his quality is willing, it wants to be back and is returning for a fourth season or longer. It makes me excited. I got a question for you, Dylan.
So
Dylan.
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
Question for you. Based on what we know with this roster, the 3 returning players, the returning coach, and the 1 player not returning that we know officially, how excited are you for the 2026 season?
Things are looking good. Brad, who are you most excited about seeing in 2026?
Larry, I hope I'm not stealing your player here. Chris Hagart. Chris Hagart is my in-season MVP for the team in terms of, consistency. He's a player you want to build a team around in the midfield. He is the Kyle Scott moving forward, and I loved him when he signed in 2024 as a loanee. I love he came back, and I love even more that he's coming back once more.
Larry, who are you most excited for in 2026?
I have a very hard time answering that question. You are asking me to choose which of my children are my favorite one.
Well, it's not Grayson, so we already know that.
That's true. You know what? I know that Carrie is incredibly excited about Nico because he is her favorite player this year. I love the fact that Chris is coming back because I agree that he is our in-season MVP. And Ryan Dogman, right after his announcement that he was returning, I reached out to him on Instagram to congratulate him on his engagement and told him that we were talking about wanting to do a live podcast at the wedding. So I'm working on that with Ryan to see if we can in fact make that happen. I'm excited about all 3 of these guys coming back. I do not have one that I like more than the other. These are 3 of my favorite players from the team this year. And we're going to have some more guys coming back, I'm quite sure. And I can't wait for those announcements to come in piece by piece by piece.
So I want to jump in here really quick before we wrap up this portion. Dylan, I'm going to jump in really quick. Larry, if you're trying to work on a live podcast, can we just request that we can do a live play-by-play of the wedding? Not just a live podcast, a play-by-play.
I can talk with Ryan about that.
And we'll do a golf style where we're like whispering into the microphone of a play-by-play, so we're not interrupting the actual ceremony.
All right,
Dylan.
everybody. As we crest the hour mark of the
Ryan
show,
is placing
I do want
the ring
to thank
on her
you
finger
for being here. and listening to an hour of absolute chaos. I don't know how we got to this point, but hey, occasionally, if you think the show is too dumb, you're probably right. You can find some things that have a little bit more thought on our website, ocsepodcast.com. And hey, do us a favor. It's Giving Tuesday, technically. Give a little. Well, one, seriously, give a little. Make the world a slightly better place if you can. Two, I don't know, follow us on social media if you somehow are listening to this and you haven't already done that. So for producer Andy, who's probably pulling his hair out, for Larry, who doesn't have
wait, Dylan, I got to say
We're
one more
only
thing.
35 seconds long.
One more thing I got to say, and Dylan was trying to wrap things up, but if you notice, I said that's stupid multiple times throughout the episode. Go onto social media, tag us, and say how many times I said that's stupid on this episode. If you get the answer right, you'll be entered into a contest. You'll get to win a prize from the podcast. We have 3 autographed Christmas ornaments from players of the team that we will give out to listeners. If you can go in and tag us and say how many times and get the correct answer that I said that's stupid on this episode, you can be entered for a chance to win the prize. We'll get that over to you.
Including what you just said, like those 3 times you just said it.
That's stupid, Brad. Yes.
Okay. Everyone, thank you. The last
gonna
year
go
that
in
the
and count
USL
those?
Championship did not have a team that folded was 2012. For the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, we are out.
Peace.
That's stupid.